Thanks a lot for coming back to watch part 2 of this discussion of how the narcissist uses shaming, blaming, and belittling to brainwash their victims. Now in part 1 I described how and why narcissists do this shaming tactic to their victims. And if you haven't watched part 1, click the link that says part 1 and watch it. And come back and watch part 2. That being said, all the reasons I gave in part 1 is not the main and the sickest reason why these narcissists do what they do. The sickest part of this shaming process is, though these unfair hypocritical situations that happened at the hands of the narcissist, the victim still stays in the relationship, even after conversations that go nowhere with the narcissist doing nothing but shaming, blaming, belittling, and sidestepping every fact and issue. The victim stays in the relationship. And the victim stays for 2 reasons. One being they were shamed down to thinking they are overreacting. They are the one in the wrong. Or they have not found the right facts to bring to this narcissist to get them to see the light. And the second reason is the sweet mean cycle the narcissist displays in their behavior I have talked about in previous videos. Which is where the narcissist is horrible and mean at times. Then out of nowhere they come home with a gift for you. Or they take you to dinner. And they give the fake show they are nice. Now before any YouTubers out there come back with comments that are trying to shame victims by calling them stupid for falling for such things, think back to your childhood. And if you had a parent or sibling or friend that maybe treated you bad, then out of nowhere gave you a gift. As an example, your mom or dad is just always calling you names, or telling you you're no good. And then out of nowhere they take you for ice cream and you are treated to a day with no belittling or mean words. You will of course be confused by this and think to yourself, maybe if I work harder I can make my mom and dad happier so I get more days like this. Well, my friend, adult victims often think in the same way. Especially if it's when they are dealing with someone they think they love. Now out of this sick part of this victim staying in this relationship, the thing that makes it even more sicker is the narcissist salivates at the fact they now have control over this victim and their human life. I mean, if you can get people to give up things and follow all kinds of rules that the rule maker does not have to follow. The rule maker now knows they punked this person and have turned them into a literal flunky. And this makes narcissists of all kinds, whether they are men or women, feel proud of themselves. Because they now have an emotional slave. And they got this slave by hurling insults and mean words at this person, coupled with buying a few trinkets and dinners along the way to reinforce to this new emotional slave that if you do what I want you will get one nice day a month where you do not have to walk around on eggshells and can be happy. Like I say again, this kind of power makes the narcissist salivate. It's better than any sexual conquest for these people. For them to control another human life is the ultimate for these people. Here is another example. Let's say either a guy or a girl in high school works really hard at their weekend job to buy a nice coat for themselves. They buy this really nice coat. Yet the people in their peer group shame this person into not wearing this coat anymore they worked so hard to get. By telling this young person, "Who do you think you are? You think you are all that because you got that coat. Yeah, okay, Miss or Mr. Hollywood with your so-called cool coat. You know I'm going to have to call you Mr. or Miss Snob. Because only snobs wear coats like that." So the victim of these verbal taunts gets tired of it. It's now starting to interfere with having a normal day that is worry-free. So the victim stops wearing the coat. Now guess what happens in the mind of the narcissist? They know. All they had to do was belittle and shame that person until they got tired of hearing it. And they finally folded due to the pressure and let them control their lives. And this is something that makes this narcissist so excited about. That they have control over other human being thoughts, actions, and feelings. You see, mostly everyone has been a victim of this at one time or another in their lives. No matter if it was when they were a child, teenager, or adult. But it's how we deal with it and recognize it for what it is that is important. You see, there are some victims that at times that will go the way of the narcissistic abuser. When someone shares with them the truth of how they have been manipulated, scammed, and brainwashed. So the once victim now turns into the narcissistic abuser by shaming the messenger of this knowledge and information, by calling the messenger a loser, a dummy, that he or she is speaking nonsense, and by twisting their words or message around. Why? Because they too, like the original narcissistic abuser, wants to do everything they can do to deflect the conversation away from the truth. And also, like the narcissistic abuser, this once victim can acquire a taste for controlling other people if they see their shaming, blaming, and belittling tactics is working. Thus the cycle continues. This kind of thing is done in every facet of life. But knowing about it and having boundaries against it is what makes all the difference. Because this is what I have meant in my previous videos by telling you to leave without question if someone is trying to program you with this utter horrible tactic of brainwashing. Because debating with these people pumps up their ego and makes them think they have you all riled up. Thus they have control over you. And no, it does not mean to be alone. Because we as people should not spend our lives alone. As we deserve to be happy and to find healthy partners to spend our time and life with. But this can only be done by bouncing the knuckleheads out of your life the minute you find out they're knuckleheads. This will free up your time to be with good people. Plus, toxic abusers can smell on you if you are going to be a good victim. They can taste it. If you bounce these knuckleheads out of your life one by one as they show themselves, eventually they will no longer have interest in you when you meet them. Because they will sense by how you carry yourself and your life force around you that you are not a punk. You are not a victim. And that you know you have just as much value as anyone else walking this planet. And you are not going to change your likes and dislikes in order to buy someone's love. And the good that will happen is that the healthy people will see you for who you are. And appreciate the strong character and goodness you show along with your life force that shines everything positive and that is healthy and strong. Like I always say, knowledge is power. The more we know, the more we can help protect ourselves and live happy, productive lives. Until next time. Bye for now. And be good to yourselves.